Like, Jeffree Star Cosmetics is not collabing with a murderer. We're not doing it this year.
I need like a list of iconic things you say on today's episode. That's one. I want her on Canceled regardless.
Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the hottest tea and unpack the latest drama. Today, we're talking about Jeffree Star and his jaw-dropping comments about Gypsy that left everyone in shock. So grab your popcorn because this is gonna get wild. Jeffree Star recently appeared on the Canceled podcast, and let's just say he didn't hold back. He made headlines by outright declaring that he would never collaborate with Ann Liar. But that wasn't the only bombshell. During the podcast, we also got some tea on what really happened between him and Gypsy, which eventually led her to unfollow and block him on all social media platforms.
Twitter got that
Miss
bitch.
Gypsy-Rose Blanchard.
Because of the internet.
It is crazy.
Gypsy-Rose went live with me.
Tell now.
Did she battle you?
No, we just had a good conversation. People kept being like, she wants to collab, and I'm like, Jeffree Star Cosmetics is not collabing with a murderer. We're not doing it this year.
I need like a list of iconic things you say on today's episode. That's one. I want her on Canceled regardless so bad.
So-
but So
here's my issue. I'm very sarcastic, and I battle, and I'm live all the time. I say really crazy, funny jokes. I should have been a comedian, right? So we go live together. We have a good time. I'm not gonna collab with her. She's like, I don't know if she's hinting at it, but like, and she's also learning TikTok. And imagine you're in prison for so long, and the phone is so new.
Oh my God.
It's like, it must be such a
Could you
trip.
imagine what that even feels like?
Yes. Yeah. So my issue is that she thought I was all great. And then a couple weeks later, someone sends her a clip of a joke I made. Unfollow. She can't handle the humor.
Aw, boring.
Yeah, I was talking to her on FaceTime, and I was like, slay, mother. And I was like...
For a little background, Jeffree Star is a renowned social media personality, influencer, and makeup mogul. He's the face behind the successful Jeffree Star Cosmetics. In Gypsy's early post-release days, she and Jeffree even went live together on TikTok, marking a seemingly good start to their association. Here's a snippet from that now infamous live session.
Frankie!
These are freaking cool.
That was awesome. I know, this app has really wild gifts. The animations are just...
Thank you so much.
It's so fun learning because there's a lot to it, and it took me a minute to get the hang of it.
Yeah. And they're just so fun to watch, too.
They are.
So lively.
I get enamored with it.
I know. I do, too.
If you guys are new to TikTok or watching Gypsy, you guys see how it says 1.1 above or below my name? Those are how many people have tapped, or how many times our screen's been tapped. So when people double tap the screen, you guys, it does share out the live. TikTok pushes it to the top. And I have the most likes or taps on anyone's live ever. We broke all the records for the app. That was only like 2 weeks ago too, which is wild. Thank you. Yes, y'all, the iconic Gypsy-Rose is in the building. Everyone send her a gift, say hi. Yes. Look at all the diva hats.
Wait, Jeffree, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah. Gotta bring Laura.
I'll bring our mom.
Oh my gosh! Who is that sweet baby?
This is Aurora Grace.
Aurora! That is such a pretty name. Gypsy, I have 7 Pomeranians. I don't know if you saw that already.
Yeah,
7.
I saw that you have a couple. I was like, oh my goodness. I can barely handle one.
Yes.
She's old. She's about 8 or 9 now. So
Yeah, my oldest is 9.
she's not old, but
Yes, Karen, thank you. Everyone's sending Gypsy gifts, thank you. Tell your sister you're the gift queen now. Look how many gifts she's gotten, over 100K.
I gotta get on here.
No, my friend really does make a living. She battles and goes live every day on here. I mean, 7 days a week. People, like, you know, not everyone can do that, but that's her. That's her. And she makes 6 figures every month on here. It's wild. Oh, Frankie!
These are freaking cool.
That was awesome. I know, this app has really wild gifts. The animations are just...
We broke all the records like 2 weeks ago. So wild. Thank you. Yes, y'all. The iconic Gypsy Rose is in the building. Everyone sent her a gift. Say hi. But things took a dramatic turn. Shortly after, Jeffree posted a video that completely set Gypsy off. In it, he commented, "We'll see you, Gypsy, in the next documentary," referring to her controversial past. Gypsy didn't take kindly to the remark, and the fallout was immediate. She unfollowed and blocked him.
Rose behind that. You guys want to say hi to Gypsy? Love you. Don't kill the next one. All right. Yeah. All right, Gypsy. We'll see you on the next documentary.
Now, if you've been keeping up, you'll know that Gypsy has a bit of a history when it comes to blocking people. Most recently, she unfollowed her entire family on social media, sparking speculation that there might be more drama behind the scenes. Given their past clashes, which have even involved the police, it's not too surprising. Gypsy has also cut ties with others like the TikTok duo Twin Paw Official, known for their parody videos about her. You might remember them from one of my previous posts, which you guys absolutely loved.
So I'm starting to think that the days of me wearing cute little crop tops are just about over for right now. Yep. Probably I'll get back into it next summer or next winter.
So much shit being said about you two this weekend. Okay, give me something. I heard there was a rumor that I moved in with Gypsy and Cutoff, which is hilarious. Like, where do y'all come up with this shit?
They just make it up as they go.
You just make it up? No, I love her. I love her. She got my baby. Of course. Mwah, mwah. Love her. No, we did not break up. Everything's still great. Baby due date, January 22nd. Ask her neighbors. Well, I feel like people just lie about their sources. Because either that or their neighbors or her neighbors are bored and just create shit too.
Oh, thank
I don't
you.
know.
Dang it, you missed
Oh. Ken, is it true I'm not allowed to have friends? What kind of a ridiculous question is that?
Right?
Of course I have friends, or I can't have friends. I've made a couple here in New Orleans. They're real ones. Why was I so grumpy at the airport? You know, I look back at that and I'm just like, I did seem that way, but like, I was honestly just teasing. And no, we're in the airport for 3 hours, but I promise we're good.
Who hasn't been there, you know?
As for Jeffree, I actually respect his stance when he said his brand wouldn't collaborate with someone like Gypsy. It's a bold move, and honestly, it makes you think about the moral compass of the people and brands that have chosen to work with her. For example, take Kim Kardashian, another controversial figure. She once collaborated with Gypsy on prison reform advocacy, but many argue it was more about image than genuine intentions. After all, Kim's rise to fame began with a scandal, and Gypsy's history isn't exactly squeaky clean. The connections don't stop there. Kim's father, Robert Kardashian, became infamous for defending O.J. Simpson during his trial. It's almost as if there's a pattern when it comes to aligning with controversial figures. It's interesting how patterns seem to emerge when you look at certain connections. Gypsy Rose has received support from some figures with controversial pasts, which raises eyebrows. For example, Kim Kardashian, known for advocating for criminal justice reform, expressed interest in working with Gypsy. Considering Kim's history of defending individuals involved in controversial cases and her father's own legal defense history, it's not surprising they seemed to align. Another collaborator of Gypsy's is Melissa Moore, who assisted her in writing her book. Melissa's father, the notorious Happy Face Killer, was responsible for the deaths of at least 8 women in the early 1990s. It's unsettling how Gypsy seems to attract support from people whose lives are somehow intertwined with violent crimes. On top of that, some theorize Gypsy has an obsession with Lululemon, a brand shrouded in its own controversies, including its connection to a tragic murder in 2011. This theory adds another layer of strangeness to the people and entities linked to her. However, not everyone is willing to associate with Gypsy. A notable example is Taylor Swift, who has consistently refused to engage with her, despite Gypsy's petitions and claims that Taylor wrote a song inspired by her. Taylor's decision to distance herself speaks volumes, and it's commendable that she refused to tarnish her reputation by associating with someone whose actions have caused so much harm. It's likely she thought, as others have, that glorifying Gypsy is both unnecessary and harmful. Adding to the controversy, Gypsy's behavior often reflects a lack of accountability. For instance, she reportedly blocked and later followed Jeffree Star after he openly criticized her. This reaction suggests that Gypsy struggles to confront criticism, perhaps because, in her mind, she doesn't view herself as someone guilty of such severe actions. She even mentioned on Nick Viall's podcast that she doesn't see herself as a murderer, which is telling of her mindset. Furthermore, Gypsy recently addressed why she's unable to vote, citing her parole status without ever acknowledging her felony conviction. The fact that she avoids using the term felon illustrates her reluctance to fully own up to her actions. If she truly accepted the gravity of what she did, she might not be so quick to take offense when people point out the reality of her situation. Adding to the complexity, some theories circulating online suggest that Gypsy has an unusual fixation on Lululemon, a brand that has its own dark associations. In 2011, the company was tied to a shocking murder case, which left a lasting stain on its image. While this connection is purely speculative, the fact that such theories even exist highlights how Gypsy's life continues to intersect with controversy, both directly and indirectly. These layers make it difficult for the public to see her as a fully reformed individual. That said, not everyone is willing to associate with Gypsy or offer her a platform. One striking example is Taylor Swift, who has outright refused to engage with Gypsy despite persistent efforts from her camp. Gypsy even claimed that Taylor wrote a song about her and launched petitions to meet her. However, Taylor stood firm in her decision, likely recognizing the potential damage to her reputation and the risk of glorifying someone whose actions have caused so much harm. It's a stance many commend, as it shows a refusal to compromise integrity or lend undue legitimacy to someone like Gypsy. What stands out in all of this is Gypsy's apparent inability or unwillingness to take full accountability for her actions. Her reaction to Jeffree Star is a prime example. After he criticized her publicly, she blocked him, only to later follow him again. This back and forth suggests a deep discomfort with criticism and a reluctance to face the reality of her actions. It's not the behavior of someone who has come to terms with their past or accepted the consequences of their decisions. This avoidance extends to her public statements as well. During a recent live session, Gypsy discussed her inability to vote, claiming it was solely due to her being on parole. Notably, she never used the word felon, despite this being the primary reason she cannot vote.
Why can't I vote? Because when you're on parole in the state of, at least in the state of Louisiana, and Missouri as well, your voting rights are like suspended until you get off of parole. So.
Her refusal to acknowledge the term seems to indicate a lingering denial of the severity of her actions. If she truly embraced accountability, she might approach these conversations with more transparency instead of sidestepping key details. Interestingly, Gypsy's narrative also highlights a broader societal tendency to romanticize or sensationalize individuals with troubling pasts. Her growing list of celebrity connections and collaborations feeds into this phenomenon, elevating her status in ways that some argue she doesn't deserve. When someone like Taylor Swift takes a stand and refuses to engage, It underscores the importance of not glorifying individuals who have committed serious crimes. This is especially critical for impressionable audiences who might misinterpret such interactions as endorsements of Gypsy's behavior or choices. At its core, this situation raises significant questions about justice, accountability, and public perception. Gypsy's story is undeniably complex, and while she has served time and claims to have changed, her actions and associations often tell a different story. True accountability means not only accepting the consequences of one's actions, but also understanding the impact they've had on others. Until Gypsy shows genuine signs of this, it's unlikely that public skepticism about her intentions will fade. It's clear that Gypsy Rose's story continues to spark intense discussions and conflicting opinions. From her controversial collaborations to her apparent lack of accountability, there's no shortage of intrigue surrounding her life post-incarceration. Whether you see her as a victim, a villain, or something in between, one thing is certain: her actions and associations will continue to shape how the world perceives her. What do you think about Gypsy Rose and the people she chooses to work with? Let's discuss it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on more thought-provoking stories, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.